This is Father Andrew Ritchie, and you're listening to Catholic Inspiration, a podcast from my website at studyprayserve.com. These homilies, presentations, and retreats form part of my ministry as a Catholic priest for the Diocese of Superior. And now I invite you to open your hearts to some Catholic inspiration. Today is Tuesday of the 14th week of the year. Our gospel reading is Matthew chapter 9, verses 32 to 38. A demoniac who could not speak was brought to Jesus, and when the demon was driven out, the mute man spoke. The crowds were amazed and said, "Nothing like this has ever been seen in Israel." But the Pharisees said, "He drives out demons by the prince of demons." And Jesus went around to all the towns and villages, teaching in their synagogues, proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom, and curing every disease and illness. At the sight of the crowds, his heart was moved with pity for them because they were troubled and abandoned like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, "The harvest is abundant, but the laborers are few. So ask the master of the harvest to send out laborers for his harvest." There's a lot of beauty in this particular passage. Here's Jesus. He's curing diseases. He's curing illnesses. He's driving out demons. He is bringing a tremendous amount of relief to people. And that alone is pretty amazing. But what I love especially is what drives him, what motivates him. We get to see the heart of Jesus in this passage. At the sight of the crowds, in all of these needs, we're told his heart was moved with pity for them. The compassion, the tenderness, the mercy. The Lord takes pity on the plight of all of these folks who are broken and wounded and struggling. And what I love about that is because that hasn't changed in 2,000 years. This is the way God looks at us in our needs, in our struggles. That the Lord has compassion that flows from the Sacred Heart. That the Lord's mercy, tenderness, and love, that's for us, not just them. But if we're going to take to heart what we see in the Sacred Heart of Christ, then friends, that also means that as disciples of Jesus, we're called to take pity on those suffering in our midst, those who are troubled and abandoned. That not only do we draw near to the Lord, who longs to compassionately, mercifully reach out to us, but then we get to put the same into practice for others, to have pity on the plight of the people around us, in their troubles, in their isolation, so that we might be the kind of agent or instrument that brings hope, that brings life, that brings joy and brings love. So it's not only what we receive, it's what we give. And this can become something that can really console but also challenge us. We can draw near to the compassion of Christ. And that's beautiful. That's precious. But there is an abundant harvest out there and laborers are few. And so folks, it's on us to get out in the field and bring that kind of hope to people in need that they might come to know and love and encounter Jesus. There's plenty of work. There's plenty of work for all of us to be his witness, his example, his ambassador, his disciple. And when we do all those things and we bring others to Jesus, then we become his apostle, living the faith and sharing the faith that others might encounter this tender heart of Jesus, who has pity on them, loves them, and longs to make them whole. Today, just for a moment, if you need to, close your eyes, but picture the Lord Jesus looking right at you. Picture him standing before you, arms out wide, welcoming you into his arms, welcoming you into an encounter with him. There's nothing we've said or done that can keep us from Christ, except ourselves. He will welcome us. He will meet us where we're at. He's not going to keep us there, But he will walk with us through whatever darkness, whatever pain, whatever struggle, into his light. He knows what's best for us. But once we walk into his light, he will then empower us to help others walk into that light. He will empower us to speak on his behalf, to serve on his behalf, because it truly is an abundant harvest. And the Lord will raise us up that we might help others receive the grace and mercy that comes from God. God bless you all. This is Father Andrew Ritchie, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of Catholic Inspiration. These homilies, podcasts, presentations, and retreats are part of my ministry. And folks, if you found it helpful, please feel free to share my podcast with someone you know and love in the hopes that it will help them in their journey of faith. And you can help me if you just go back to your podcast engine and write me a rating and a review. I keep all my listeners in my daily prayers, and I ask that you remember me and yours as well. God bless you, my friends.